been a reign of dominance because Jamie Bestwick and Dave Mira have some of the biggest tricks in the sport, and those guys are able to put them together into one run. Now, they're both going to be looking to add another X Games Vert Gold to their trophy case tonight, but they're going to have to battle it out against some of the best vert riders in the world. One of those vert riders being Tim Wood. Now, this is his X Games debut, and the thing about Tim, he's got a rather interesting story. He refinanced his house back in Australia to pay for his trip to get to the Asian X Games. He took a first place there. That's what got him his invite here to LA. He used the prize money from Asian X to pay for his trip to get here to compete at X Games 11.
Jimmy, he actually blew everybody away at the Asian X Games. One of the smoothest 900s I've ever seen, about 9 feet out. One blank wall straight into a turn down flare. Is an absolutely insane run. That's how he earned his spot here to X. It's his dream trip of his life coming to X Games 11. We'll see what he can do.
Well, it looks like he's starting this one off a little conservative. You mentioned his 900 earlier. He actually took a really good slam on one of those earlier. There's a big no-handed 540, taking the hands off in the middle of the 540 and got a little squirrely on that one, but he managed to save it.
He did. He saved that one. It was definitely not the rotation he wanted, but he hung on to it. And early in his run, he had a couple mistakes too. And again, he is a rookie X Games competitor.
And look at that flare.
Turn down flare, straight into a regular flare. 2 big back-to-back tricks.
Well, he started this run off conservative, but he's managed to end it with a bang. So way to go for the X Games rookie at 30 years old.
Format is 2 runs, your best run counts. So Tim can toss this one out, come back and lay down even a bigger score in his second run, and that's the one that'll count. Great run for Tim, and he's got those butterflies out of his stomach, I think. Check this out, Tim Wood making it happen with the turn down flare and clicking that one way past the 180 mark with the handlebars straight into another flare. It's a back flip with a 180 twist, you land forward. 2 giant tricks back to back and the no-handed 5. Watch the landing though. Feet almost slipping off the pedals. His right foot almost slipped off. Landed a little crooked, but he's happy with that run. Look at him smile.
What I was trying to say during his run was that he crashed earlier in the week on a 900, had a slight concussion, and hasn't been feeling 100%. Started off conservative, gets a first run score of 82 flat. So he's currently in 3rd right now, and like you mentioned, Steve, it's best run count. So he's going to want a little bit more for run number 2. Coming up next, we've got a guy that's competed in every single X Games invert. It's John Parker. Now, John Parker's got a couple of big tricks, but over the last couple of years, he's lacked a couple of things that could put him into the podium. Within the last 9 months, though, he's been practicing a lot. Actually, he relocated last November. He's the newest resident of Camp Woodward East.
State College team in force here at X Games 11. John Parker, Chad Kagy, Jamie Bestwick, and Kevin Robinson all training and riding together year-round. Look at the height. Huge Superman from Parker coming out swinging.
Nice combo move with the bar spin to no footer. Spinning the handlebars, catching them, then taking the feet off the pedals. Good amplitude out of this run so far for John. Guarantee you we may see a double tail whip here real soon, Steve. And there it is, 2 revolutions in the frame of the bike.
Throws it, lands it clean with enough speed to do a bar spin on the other side. Parker definitely got some of the big ingredients that takes some metal here.
It's definitely the new and improved John Parker, and you got to bet that living out there at Camp Woodward and riding with some of the best guys in the world is definitely going to help your riding style. He's got about 10 seconds left on the clock.
It would be nice to see him throw one more giant trick. Need a score in the low to mid-90s or even higher to get onto the podium at X.
That was a good run for John, but he needed a little bit more, especially in the end there. That run tended to get a little flat there.
Started off huge. Somewhere in the middle, he threw the double tail up. A little bit of a gamble. Check this out, 2 rotations with the bike. 1, here comes the other. Muscling it around with his shoulders. You got to find the pedals quick. Lands on the pedals so clean, he throws a bar spin on the other side. One of the toughest tricks in the book. Only a handful of riders ever pulled a double tail whip invert. John doing it way out of the ramp. There it is, full speed. Parker making it look easy right into the bar spin.
Pretty decent run for John Parker first time around. I think he might have played that one a little conservative though, Steve. I know he's got a couple of things up his sleeve that he guarantee he's going to bring out for run number 1, but hey, he gets an 86 flat, and that puts him in the lead as of right now. So way to go, JP. Well, only 2 riders have won this event over the last 8 years, Dave Mira and Jamie Bestwick. Steve, what are their keys to success?
These two boys, they have done it with 12-foot airs or even higher. Some guys going as high as 14 feet out of the top of the ramp. They also have the most difficult tricks in their bag. Jamie and Dave, the only two riders to pull the tail whip flare invert competition, and they're also very, very consistent. Giant tricks way out of the ramp, super smooth, super dialed.
Well, everyone in this field is going to be gunning for those two, including a longtime veteran competitor, Dennis McCoy. Now, he's another athlete in this competition who's competed at every single X Games. He's got a bag of tricks that goes 20 years deep. Now, Dennis definitely has the ingredients to put together a podium run tonight.
Dennis has the perfect mental capacity to fire it off at any time. He never is down for a contest. He's always way up. Huge 540 out of Dennis.
He's 38 years old, by the way. Whoa, with a big corkscrew flare over the channel. It didn't look like he had enough speed from my vantage point to get over that thing, but he did.
Dennis riding on Tony Hawk's Hook Jam for the past couple of months, and you can show it in his dialed riding.
Well, Dennis is coming out here with a fire right now. This is a pretty good run so far, and you got to imagine after being on the Tony Hawk. Oh, man.
Goes down on one of his favorite tricks, and one of the ones that he was the first one to do. It is a bar spin 540. He hung his wheel on the coping and goes down hard.
He hit really hard on that. He spun the handlebars, caught him, but then on the last part of the rotation of that trick, he just clipped that front wheel really bad, and it spat him straight to the bottom of the ramp.
You really can't hold anything back if you want to get a big score here at X Games. All the best guys in the world throwing it down as hard as they can. That's one of the tricks that Dennis has in his bag. You know, it's not one of the ones that he pulls every time, but almost for Dennis. Here's the big flare over the channel, covering about 10 feet of skate light. Lands a little bit crooked, but gets back into his run pretty quickly. And here's the crash. The 540, watch the bars. You got to find the bars with your hands, but he's over the deck too far. Clips hard with the front wheel and sends him to the flat. Glad he's up and walking away from that one. Taking another look at the crash, bar spin, clips the wheel and goes down. Ouch. 38-year-old is up and walking away, thank goodness.
He's probably a little delirious right now, wondering what happened. That's a really tough break for Dennis, considering that run was off to a really good start. He's got an 84.66, and he's currently in third.
Dress to impress, mind your manners, and look both ways before crossing the red carpet. Next to arrive, the men of Moto X Best Trick.
He's having a great life.
Plus BMX Vert. Dave Mira, 1 gold last year. Jamie Bestwick, 1 gold the year before. Kevin Robinson, 1 trick to defeat them all. The double flare. Welcome to X Games 11, where you arrive in style or not at all.
The X Games on ESPN. The action.
11 is brought to you by Taco Bell, proud sponsor of the 2005 X Games. Saturn, people first, and Right Guard Extreme. Now supercharged with 25% more odor and wetness protection.
Welcome back to Los Angeles, California. It's X Games 11. We are live inside the Staples Center, and it is BMX Freestyle Vert. Just a minute ago, Jay Miron took his first run and fired off an amazing trick to put him into first.
The inventor of this trick, it is the tail whip 540. Jay Miron, the first rider to ever do it. Jamie Bestwick, Dave Mirab also got into the bag now, but Jay first one to nail it. Here with a nice big tail whip air. Very consistent run for Jay. Put him up on top of the leaderboard as we stand.
So Jay Miron moving up to the top of the leaderboard while we were away at break. So things are starting to heat up here big time at X Games 11 in the BMX Freestyle Vert competition. Chad Kagy getting ready to take his first run, and this guy has an absolutely amazing comeback story. In 2003, BMX freestyle rider Chad Kagy broke his neck on a double backflip attempt at the Gravity Games. After a long and hard recovery process, Chad amazingly competed in the 2004 X Games. He debuted a brand new trick, a bar spin to tail whip combo in his final run, and he finished 4th place. This year, Chad has continued his comeback by placing well at both Dew Tour stops and placing very well at the CFB competition.
Chad Kagy ready to drop. He's been on the Boom Boom Huck Jam for months now, and he is incredibly dialed also. Check out the high double bar spin to bar spin. What was that? 3 tricks in 1?
Look at the size of that flare going over the channel right there.
Straight into a tail whip. Kagy coming out swinging for sure.
Now, the amazing thing about Chad is not only did he recover from that injury to come out here last year, there's a double tail whip, 2 revolutions, and a flare out of it.
Huge trick, straight into another huge trick. Gambling big time, throwing that so early in his run. Chad doing everything you need to do. Landing everything, lots of big tricks, and so high out of the ramp.
Not only did he come back from the injury and place 4th last year, he has just been rising through the vert ranks this season, and he's got a couple of new things up his sleeve that we could possibly see here tonight, as well as in the vert best trick competition. There's the bar spin to tail whip that he did last year, and he does a flare out of that too.
Chad's still about the only guy to do that in vert competition. That is so many big tricks, and he throws them all back to back.
And there's the buzzer right there. That was pick your highlight reel there. That was amazing.
Absolutely amazing run. Chad has got a huge smile on his face after that. Here we are with the right guard extreme fly cam. Check out the double T-whip. Chad doing it so high out of the top of the ramp. At least 6 or 7 feet straight into the corkscrew. 2 big tricks back to back. Take another look at the double tail whip. Look at that height. 8 or 9 feet. That's got to be one of the highest I've ever seen. And here at the end of his run, bar spin to late tail whip. He's the only one to do it, only one to actually he invented the trick and do another corkscrew. Chad linking so many big moves. Amazing run.
I cannot even believe what I just saw to Chad there. Not only did he do the bar spin to late tail whip, but he did it at the end of his run. Generally, guys tend to be winded at the end of the run. That was a lot of crazies. He gets a 92, and he bumps Jay Miron out of the lead, and he's in first. Right now, for a preview of tonight's Moto X Best Trick competition, here's Cameron Steele.
Well, thanks, Jimmy. We are outside of the Staples Center. A beautiful night for Moto X Best Trick. It's basically risk as much as you possibly can to get back on the motorcycle. We have jumps that are 90 feet out here, but Travis Pastrana is in the house. He was making his own lift. That's right, he was on the equipment, making a jump for what? That's what we gotta ask. He's crazy. You can see here, he is trying the bike burial. Is that what he will throw? He knows he needs to innovate to beat Carruthers. He has thrown 1 body burial, and he used it to win. Travis Pastrana continued to work on the jump while practice was going on. Will he be able to throw something new to take Chuck down? That is the question. Jimmy, it is going to be an awesome ride outside. We'll see if Chad Kagy can hang on inside, though, right now.
Well, things are definitely heating up in here. Guys are gunning for those podium spots out here. So X Games 11 and BMX Vert is heating up big time. For those of you sitting at home, you want to be a part of the X Games, well, you can log on and be part of the EXPN.com poll question. Tonight's question is, who will win BMX Vert? Is it going to be Dave Mira, Jamie Bestwick, or will we crown a new champion? Log on to EXPN.com and cast your vote, and we'll tally up the results a little bit later on in the show. Kevin Robinson set to drop in. He's a guy that can give Dave Mira and Jamie Bestwick a run for the money out here at X Games 11. He's also a man of many hats. He's a pro rider, he's a country singer, a bodybuilder, and most important of all, and most recently, he is a family man.
I think people have a real misconception of who we are. A lot of people associate X Game athletes like, you know, we're all grown men. We have kids and families, and you know, this is our job. It's a never-ending quest to find new things to do on a bicycle.
All eyes in this building are focused on Kevin Robinson. Oh man, ever Kevin!
I've always used that as a stage to unleash new tricks or to try something new and different. I enjoy that way more than winning.
Oh man, I don't believe you just pulled that off!
Through my wife, Robin, she's really helped me just to be able to focus and just to remember that I'm there to have fun. There is definitely an element of risk. Adrenaline's pumping. You're nervous. You're shaking.
Oh my goodness, here we go! Man, that was just ridiculous!
It doesn't really enter my mind about getting hurt. Of course, you know, I always want to be around for my daughter. When we had her, we went into it knowing what I do. Nothing else matters in my life except for her and my wife. You're not just thinking about yourself anymore. You're thinking about, you know, that little girl. I feel like I'm living the American dream. I've taken this bicycle and it's given me everything I've got. I can't ask for anything more than that.
Well, it is a charmed life, and Kevin couldn't be happier. That was his wife, Robin, and their first child, Shay, and actually the Robinson family expecting another one on the way here coming up in November.
Kevin is doing what he loves to do, riding his bike, and he's in the form he definitely wants to be in. Biggest show on earth in action sports, dropping into some huge airs right out of the gate.
Look at the size of that flare going over the channel. He landed almost directly under the coping on that one. That's what you want to do in that trick to get the max amount of speed out of it. Kevin has those things wired.
He has a couple of new tricks in his bag. He's got an opposite flare, and we've all been hearing about the double flare. Who knows if we'll see it tonight?
Well, Kevin with the no-handed flare right there, he's got a couple of X Games bronze medals. He's taken bronze the last 2 years. He'd definitely like to upgrade his trophy case and get himself a shiny one.
Did both of those tricks back-to-back, and there's the opposite flare, and he slides out, not able to get the rotation all the way around.
That trick, Kevin going the opposite direction that he's normally used to going, and he looks like he just didn't have enough rotation on that one, so sliding out. He had 15 seconds left on the clock, and he just waved it off.
Format is 2 runs, best run count, so Kevin is able to toss this run out. Got to keep it rubber side down to get a big score, obviously. Here's the big flare with a little invert over the channel, covering about 16 feet of flat wall. Peg grab variation, keeping lots of variety in his run. Here's the no-handed flare, way out of the deck, lands it so clean, he's gonna throw in a 540. Kevin riding with a lot of confidence. Here comes with his new one, the opposite flare, going his unnatural directions. Couldn't get it all the way upright, slides it out. Glad to see he's up and okay.
Definitely not the run that Kevin wanted. He's still got a smile on his face after that one. He knows the way this format works, it's best run count, so he can definitely throw that one out. So I guarantee you that Kevin will come out swinging with everything that he's got. He gets an 89.33 though. He's currently in second. Right now we have Keith Allen down with him for an interview.
Hey, Kevin, looks like things went a little bit wrong there in run number 1. Run number 2 ahead of you. What are you going to do to try and move yourself up the food chain?
Somehow I never fail to put pressure on myself, so I'm here to have fun. I'm having a really good time. Love this contest, love being here. What about you, Staples Center?
All right, back to you guys up top. Kevin Robinson waiting for run number 2.
Almost completed the first runs here. Kevin Robinson sitting in second, but our leader is Chad Kagy. But on deck, we've got the 2 most dominant competitors in the sport today.
Me and Dave have been riding against each other for years, and it's been going backwards and forwards.
Jamie is riding insane.
I've got a lot of tricks. Dave's got a lot of tricks.
Hopefully my best will win. That's why I'm here.
If they got a hacksaw and cut that gold medal in half and said, here, we can't decide, have half each, fine with me.
Welcome back to Los Angeles, California. It's X Games 11, and we are live inside the Staples Center for BMX Freestyle Vert. Well, Chad Kagy has put down a good attempt at trying to stop the reign of dominance here in this event by throwing down a very impressive first run. There's a shot of Matt Hoffman. Now, he took gold medal at the first 2 X Games in BMX Freestyle Vert, but since then, there's only been 2 other guys to ever take a gold medal in this event. It's been a reign of dominance over the last 8 years between Dave Mira and Jamie Bestwick. You can see by that graphic right there, you can see how the history of this sport has panned out in vert over the last 8 years or so. Now last year, Dave Mira, he came out of the gate strong, just blowing this crowd away, landing his usual array of difficult tricks. He did everything at a superb height, and it was smoothness and consistency that paid off as he posted up a huge run the first time around. Jamie Bestwick was the defending gold medalist, but in his first run, he crashed hard on an alley-oop 540 attempt, went over the bars. Then in Mira's second run, he landed his first successful X Games flare tail whip. Finally, Bestwick had a contact lens fall out in the middle of his second run. He couldn't finish the rest of his run, and that pretty much secured the gold for Dave Mira last year at X Games 10. Jamie Bestwick getting ready to drop in right now. It's hard to believe that a couple of years ago, this guy was working full-time back in England. He was a fan blade inspector for jet engines. He moved over here to the States, pursued his career of being a full-time rider, and won his first X Games in San Francisco that year.
Yeah, hasn't done too shabby since making that decision. Jamie, undoubtedly one of the best vert riders in the history of our sport. He's going to prove why right here. Check out the giant airs right out of the gate. And I think he has a little something to prove. He finished 6th last year. He wants to come and lay it down tonight.
Definitely. He has such a competitive nature to him, and I know that he has thought about it many times about finishing out 6th last year, just on a couple of weird, unfortunate incidents.
Jamie using every inch of the ramp. One of the things he does better than almost any other competitor. And there is the flare tail up, a move he invented over the channel, pulls it so clean, and a giant 540.
That trick also helped him earn the gold medal in 2003. Another thing about Jamie that you're going to see at him, you won't see at a lot of the other guys, is he'll actually use those weird pockets on the far end of the ramp.
That was an alley-oop 540, travels slightly backwards across the ramp, and that's the trick he went down on last year. Pulling it clean in 2 big tricks back-to-back. Bestwick with a huge, huge run.
That last one was an opposite fast plant flare. Putting the foot down, flipping himself into the backflip 180, going his unnatural direction.
Kagy still in the lead with a 92, but Jamie putting a huge statement down on his first run. All the ingredients you need. Big tricks way out of the top of the ramp, kept everything rubber side down. We'll take a look right here. The flare tail whip by the inventor over the channel. Smooth, high, clean. Jamie is so consistent. Taking another look at it over the channel. That is so high and so smooth. Jamie makes it look like this cakewalk into the big 5. So smooth on everything. Here he is with a tail whip late in his run. Not one of the most difficult tricks Jamie knows, but he does it into the opposite fast plant flare. Incredible. Mira can't believe it.
Well, that was definitely the run that Jamie wanted. He probably wanted that one last year, but hey, last year's in the books. It's 2005. Giving a little shout out to his brand new baby boy, Samuel Bestwick. And look at that, Jamie Bestwick, it's no surprise, moves into first after that amazing run. Jamie definitely fired up about that one, but we have one rider left to take his first run here, and that is Dave Mira. Now, this guy is the most decorated X Games athlete in the history of the X Games. He's got 18 medals, 13 of them happen to be gold. Speaking of gold, I'm going to send you down to Keith Allen right now for a little bit more about that.
Yeah, when you got 13 gold medals, you can afford to melt a couple of them down for your bike. Mira's new bike is gold-plated, 24-karat gold, and I'm talking the entire frame, bars, levers, sprocket, you name it, it is solid gold plated out here. This man knows how to get it done. It is valued at $6,000, baby. Ain't getting this one off the rack, that's for sure. But you know, he's got his eyes set on gold. He's looking to make it 14 out here. A man like this shouldn't have to polish his own bike, but Dave Mira is a hands-on athlete. Gets the buff job done, and he is ready to go for his 14th gold medal out here. Steve and Jimmy?
Well, Dave's definitely got some big tricks that he's able to throw down, and like we told you earlier and all throughout the show, it's been a showdown between these two guys over the last couple of years, and Dave has just been training hard and practicing for this one. Says he's got a brand new shiny looking bike to get out here and throw down a little pizzazz with his run. Rumor has it about a couple of tricks out of Dave.
Never know what he's got up his sleeve. These guys always are working on something before our big show here at X.
I'll tell you what, watching him in practice too over the last couple of days, he just super smooth and he has this ramp dialed. He told me earlier that he loves this ramp as well.
Perfect landing on that air, way out over the channel with an opposite air.
and he actually traversed quite a big distance on that one. Look at the big corkscrew flare, once again traveling across the ramp.
Dave had some huge airs in the beginning of his run, probably close to 14 feet.
Oh, man, that was a weird crash for Dave.
Goes opposite over the channel, lands heavy on the front wheel and goes over. And friends down there in X Games Medical attending to him immediately. It's Kevin Robinson and Chad Kagy there with him.
That was arguably one of the most bizarre crashes I think I've ever seen out of Dave. There's a concerned look on his fiance's face, Lauren Blackwell. He just came in nose heavy going over the channel. He was doing an opposite air. He was going the opposite direction he normally turns and just came in heavy on the front tire and went right over the bars.
Something so textbook for Dave too. You just not expect it at all. He's probably thinking already about the next wall. Take a look here, opposite over the channel. You can see he's already way over the front end, comes in way too nose heavy, straight down, takes it pretty hard on that one, all the way on the flat, and that's why vert riders wear full face motorcycle helmets. Man, he just lands so far down on the front wheel, couldn't get his weight back in time to go over the back, and that's always scary when you go over the bars on your bike. Do not want to hit your head, obviously. Ouch. Glad he is walking away from that one. Oh man, his fiance reacting right there. That is Lauren.
That one stung him really, really good. That's not your typical Dave Mirra run, but at least he was able to get up and walk away under his own power. So he's currently in 6th after that run. Tough break for Dave there, but never count him out. That's why we call him the Miracle Man, because he's got a second shot at this, and the way it works, it's best run counts.
That's right, they've got 2 runs.
So tough break for Dave Mirra there. We have completed the first round here in BMX Freestyle Vert. It's Jamie Bestwick just where he wants to be, sitting up on top of the leaderboard. Chad Kagy in 2nd, and Mirra all the way down in 6th.
Moto X Best Trick. Master your fear, or fear the worst.
There's no limits right now, and it's kind of scary.
I've lost organs, I've broke bones. What's next?
Is it too dangerous? It's a choice every individual rider makes.
It's so scary you can't fall asleep at night.
Fear not. Goes for the three-peat, looking to prove once and for all, it's better to be Bucky than good. Moto X Step Up. Last year, Jeremy McGrath, Matt Biden. 53 minutes, 2 shoulder dislocations, 1 champ. You could say the bar is set pretty high, but you won't. Friday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on ESPN.
We are back live inside the Staples Center. It's X Games 11, and we are in the middle of BMX Freestyle Vert's run number 2. We got a packed house here inside the Staples Center, and we have our current leader. There he is right there. It's Jamie Bestwick. He got a gold medal in 2003, finished out 6th last year, so he's sitting on top of the leaderboard. And the shocker, Dave Mirra, sitting all the way down in 6th place, and here's why. An opposite air going over the channel, and that's his opposite direction he normally goes. And just look at how the front tire went down first. He was way over the bars and just bounced off the bottom of the ramp there. Tough break for Dave, but right now we're going to get a report on him from Keith Allen.
The bar so high, when you raise the bar that high, you increase the risk. Mirra taking a pretty good digger. He's got some ice on his face right now, got a good shiner out of that deal. Medical has cleared him to ride, but really it's going to be up to Dave to see how he's feeling when the time comes up. He's definitely been shaken up. We're just going to have to wait and see if Mirra will take it back into the ramp.
Well, that is a tough break for Dave right there, and Steve and I don't call him the Miracle Man for no good reason. We've seen him come back time and time again, and he did an interesting come-from-behind win last year in the park event out here at the X Games. So Dave's a trooper, very tough guy. Look for him to come back swinging in run number 2. Right now, getting ready to drop in Tim Wood for run number 2. We mentioned in his first run, he's got a very interesting story. The guy refinanced his house to go to the Asian X Games, got first place there, got him his invite. He's here now. Kind of played it a little conservative at the beginning of run number 1, but the guy can do the 900. We haven't seen it yet tonight.
Rookie X Games competitor, just wanted to get the butterflies out. I think he blew everybody away at the Asian X Games. He's got some huge tricks in his bag. As you said, Jimmy, with the 9, it was one of the best I've ever seen anybody do with 2.5 spins.
Speaking of huge tricks, we got a barn burner coming up later on. We've got Moto X best trick going on a little bit later on tonight, so we may see some new breakthrough tricks going on over there. And there we go with the 900. Oh, and he's so close. Just got blown off the bike.
Gets down to the wheels, but couldn't hang on to it. Maybe a little bit of an over-rotation on that. But Tim wanted to throw down his biggest trick early in his run. Definitely felt very privileged to get invited to the X Games. So many good riders out there. Puts down a flare.
He gets right up after crashing on a 900 and has the strength to do a flare.
He went down hard on that too. That was not an easy crash. True gladiator for BMX Vert.
Well, as I mentioned in his first run, he took a good slap on that trick earlier in the week. Hit his head really hard, had a minor concussion. So a little bit of jitters with the 900. Tough break for Tim Wood, but he's smiling. He's happy to be here. It's his first X Games.
He knew it was close. Way out of the top of the ramp. Corks his head around. 2.5 spins with the 900. Lands it a little bit low and just can't quite hang on. The ramp is 13.5 feet tall, so you're dropping a good 20 feet, spinning like a tornado. Lands a little bit off, not quite full 900-degree rotation. You can see just collapses under the impact and drops it off, and I'm glad to see he's walking away. Got up and put together a pretty nice run after that, too.
Definitely wasn't the runs that he wanted out here tonight, but you got to think that this has got to be a dream trip for him. Just living out his dream, coming out here, riding with some of the best guys in the world. So he's going to stick with his first run score, and that's going to leave him all the way down in 10th place. But hey, it's his first ever X Games. ESPN's coverage of the NFL preseason begins Saturday as Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons face Peyton Manning and the Colts from Tokyo, Japan. It's preseason NFL on ESPN Saturday at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. John Parker set to drop here for his second and final run. John sitting down at about the middle of the pack. He's in 5th place right now. Had the double tail whip in that first run. Kind of got lost a little bit towards the end, and we may see something new out of John tonight.
John looks really smooth to me, Jimmy. He's landing everything high up on the ramp, maintaining his speed, looking a little more consistent than we've seen him in years past.
Look at how far he got away from the bike on that trick. Grabbing the seat, taking the feet off right there. Man, the bar spin, or the tail whip to late bar spin, and just
takes it hard there, Jimmy. Did not get his hands back on his bars after that. It's the tail whip to late bar spin. He's the only guy to do that in vert and did not find the handlebars in time, but big gamble. And again, these guys roll the dice so hard here at X Games. They can't hold anything back if they want to make the podium. It's Kevin Robinson down there with him, his training buddy, both living in State College, Pennsylvania, training at Woodward Camp year-round.
That's some of the unfortunate risks that these guys take participating in the sport, but like you mentioned earlier, Steve, they do wear the full face helmets and all the pads, and that's why.
Here it is with Parker on the tail. Watch the bars, going for the late bar spin, and just barely got the bars around to 180, and he could not grab them. Take another look here. The tail whip to late bar spin, just fumbling with the bars all over the place, and wow, he took it hard, right onto the flat bottom. It's unfortunate to see. Parker here, full speed. Oh, and Dave Mira knows John takes it hard there on the flat bottom.
Well, when I originally saw that, it looked like the handlebars got him in the stomach, but a little bit took it on the elbow there. So John getting looked on from the medical staff right there. We'll update his condition as well as Dave Mears when we come back. We've got BMX Freestyle Vert, more to come when we come back.
two of skateboarding's best. Bucky Lassick and Bob Burnquist battle it out for X Games gold. But with Sean White in the mix, anything could happen. Then in Moto X step-up, Jeremy McGrath goes big in search of back-to-back titles. See something incredible every night, guaranteed. X Games 11 continues Friday at 9 on ESPN, and all this weekend on ESPN and ABC.
We are back live inside the Staples Center for BMX Freestyle Vert. Competition on a bit of a hold right now. We had an unfortunate incident with John Parker trying a very crazy trick, the tail whip to late bar spin. Handlebars didn't come all the way around, and he ended up bouncing pretty hard off the bottom of the ramp there. We also had another crash earlier. It was Dave Mira. He went down hard, and for more on that, Keith Allen's got an update for us.
If I had one word to describe Dave Mira right now, it'd be loopy. He's got his friends telling him what exactly went down. He doesn't even know exactly what happened. He's a little bit lightheaded. He's got a slight concussion. Dave is going to pull out of the competition here. He's got a long week ahead of him with the park and Vert Best Trick ahead of him this week. So Dave is going to play it safe and pull out of the competition tonight after that gnarly crash. This ramp has claimed more than one victim. Going to send things over to Jamie Little now for a preview on Moto X.
That's right, we're in downtown Los Angeles. It's a beautiful evening. It's a packed house. It's the first time ever we've been outside for this event. We're in the shadows of the Figueroa Hotel. As you can see, the huge murals behind me. Now, unfortunate for you guys, I've seen a couple hard hits, but drama is building here. Earlier today, actually it was about an hour ago, Travis Pastrana building his own lip. We're told he has a specially designed bike for this event. We don't know what the trick is yet. We're calling it the mystery trick. And you know, of course, he's going to go up against Chuck Carruthers' body burial that he did last year. So it's heating up, but right now we're going to send it back inside the Staples Center and Jim.
Well, tough break for John Parker there. Medical tending to John right now. They got him up, rolled him off the ramp, and getting ready to resume things here. So a couple of nasty crashes here in the middle of the competition. So the guys definitely don't like to see that, but the show must go on. Getting ready to roll in here for run number 2. Dennis McCoy. Didn't see the 900 out of Dennis in his first run. He definitely has that trick in his bag. Dennis been riding pretty good because he's been on the Tony Hawk Boom Boom Hug Jam. And when you're in a show like that, you're riding at that caliber every night, it's definitely going to help out your style.
Dennis can get fired up in a hurry. Knows it's his last of 2 runs. Your best run counts, so he can up his score from his first run. Big airs to start out with. Bar spin to X up. Judges looking for variety, height out of the top of the ramp, and very difficult tricks. And obviously, you want to keep it rubber side down. No falls if you can help it, Dennis.
Well, height definitely a factor in Dennis's run. You saw how high that backflip 180 was over the channel there.
It's always tough to be the first competitor in after see one of your fellow competitors take a hard slam. But again, these guys have been riding together sometime, in Dennis's case, for 20+ years he's been a pro.
Couple of setup airs here. Maybe that 900 might be coming. There's the bar spin 540, spinning the handlebars.
And that's what he crashed on in his first run. So he puts down the trick he had trouble with.
He's down to the last couple of seconds here. He's down to 5 seconds. Getting up on the deck, going for a manual, and just said, I'm tired, I'm waving this one off. So, not a bad second run there for DMC. Making the bar spin 540 that time around.
And here we are from the right guard extreme fly cam. The bar spin 540. Spinning the bike 1.5 times around with the bars spinning at 360. And you can see why bar spins are so dangerous. What happened to John? He couldn't find him. Dennis able to get his hands back on, riding away clean. Not the best run for McCoy, but not a bad one either.
But he looked like a little shocked on that one because you saw the way his hands landed. They seemed to be a little too close together, and he kind of had to slide them back out and find the handle grips. And judging by the low air that he did out of that, I think he was lucky to get out of that one the way that he did. And he does manage to up his score. Not going to finish with a medal here tonight, so the best he can hope for is 4th place. And there's a shot at Dave Mira right there. You heard the report earlier. He's not going to ride in his second run. Hit his head really hard, so I don't think Dave really knows where he is right now. I'm sure the boys over there telling him what happened. It was was an unfortunate incident for Dave there. But right now, Jay Miron lit it up earlier in the competition by doing a 540 tail whip. Now, Jay can get another one of those down in his run. A couple other big tricks. He can move up a couple of notches. We may also possibly see out of Jay here tonight the 540 double tail whip. He tried it last year in the vert competition. Almost made it, but hung up his front tire and crashed hard.
Jay, the first rider ever to do a 540, which is 1.5 spins with a tail whip. First guy to ever do it. Only a couple of guys can still do it. Jay's tried the double 5 whip a couple of times, not able to get it done yet, but you never know what the Canadian Beast has up his sleeve.
Well, he's also riding a little banged up right now. He's got a shoulder injury. It's on his right shoulder. There's a big 540 right there. Nice slow rotation and gets speed out of it.
Lands it high on the top of the ramp, exactly what you want to do to maintain your speed and the flow of your run. Steps off on a grind, and that's something that Jay can probably do in his sleep.
That's definitely not going to help out his chances of trying to bump up to the 5th and maybe get a podium spot. Taking a breather here, wasting a good chunk of time here. So
yeah, but you know what, Jimmy? He definitely has something in mind here. He doesn't waste that much time unless he's got something he wants to do.
I have to agree with you. I think something's coming right here. There's a big 540. Maybe sent him for something and just maybe lost his concentration there and just had to eject the bike and get out of the ramp. So that'll wrap it up for Jay there. Run number 2.
Unfolding pretty strange for Jay in that run. I have no idea what happened. Thought he landed that 540 clean and decided to hit the eject button. Here it is with the nice, smooth 540 landing way at the top of the ramp, and don't know, just didn't like what he saw, didn't like what he was feeling. Decides to jump onto the deck. Look how high that is, Jimmy. So smooth, too. Jay just says, hey, something's not feeling comfortable, I'm out of here. Wise vert rider, though. He's been around a long, long time. Been one of the top pros in our sport for 15 years.
Well, that was a rare turn of events that had just unfolded there in Jay Miron's run. So tough break for Jay. Wanted a little bit more in that one, and he gets an 84.33. So like we felt earlier in the run, he's going to stick with his first run score, and that's going to keep him in 5th. So we've got more BMX Freestyle Vert coming up. Hopefully we'll get an update on John Parker's condition a little bit later on after taking that nasty slam. But right now, our current leader is Jamie Bestwick with a 94.33. Chad Kagy sitting not too far behind with a 92. And Dave Mira all the way down in 6th, actually 7th right now after taking an unfortunate crash.
Top of the hour here at X Games 11, and if you are just joining us, we're in the midst of the BMX Freestyle Vert contest, and we've already had a couple of injuries. Dave Mira is out with a concussion, that's a shocker, and John Parker, a rider who hasn't been injured since 1997, suffered a concussion. He was actually knocked unconscious. However, when the medical staff took him off the ramp, he was responsive verbally and physically, which is very good. He's on his way to a local hospital, and this is one of the nicest guys in the world. Wish his family the best, and we'll update you later. Moto X Best Trick is definitely coming up 10 minutes away. Chuck Carruthers, he's got that Corolla. He hasn't made it since last year. Also, we've got Travis, who's working on something new. But first, we're going to go back to the vert ramp. And Jim and Steve, how is this going to play out? How does this affect the mindset of the big dogs that still have some runs to take?
Well, these guys definitely don't like to see any of their buddies crash like that. These guys are all friends. They've been riding together for a long, long time. You definitely hate to see something like that. It definitely takes the wind out of the sails. But fortunately, everybody glad to know that John talking and waving and managing to smile as they were taking him out of here. So that's some good news. Chad Kagy, however, this guy posted up an immense first run score, and we're about to see why.
Chad has come on so strong the past couple of years in vert. There is the double tail whip, 2 rotations around, lands it clean enough to do a flare right after that. Another big trick, one of Chad's own. It is the bar spin to late tail whip. Chad Kagy is on fire.
Well, the way this is panning out right now, Chad and Kevin Robinson are the only two guys left who can try to knock Jamie Bestwick off of that first place score right now. So we'll see what Chad's got here in run number 2. He told me earlier he had something new we were going to see tonight. Here we go.
Triple bar spin, Jimmy. He grabbed it twice. He was so high out of the ramp, he had 3 of those in there. That is a new one. I've never seen that before in vert.
Chad has just become such an impressive vert rider over the last 2 years. Just look at how smooth, how dialed in he is on all of his tricks.
And that is coming out swinging if I've ever seen it. Brand new trick, first air right out of the gate.
That's definitely some good strategy. That's taking some chances. Look at the double tail whip over the channel, no less. And he gets a flare out of it. My goodness.
Back-to-back flares, 3 huge tricks in a row. What is Kagy doing?
Well, he's still got 16 seconds left on the clock here, and it's ticking down. Resetting over there in the corner, going over there to talk to Kevin Robinson. I don't know if he's going to roll in here and try to fire off something new. Looks like he's taking his helmet off.
Don't know if that's going to be enough. He called it a little bit early, but threw some giant tricks in there. A little bit of a Kagy coming out party here this evening. Crowd is pretty psyched on Chad's run. Now check this out. Bar spin, grab, second and a third bar spin. He grabbed it each time in between. Never seen that before in BMX Vert. The double tail whip over the channel, traveling about 6 feet straight into the corkscrew. Judges love to see the big tricks back to back, riding with a lot of confidence. Here it is again over the channel, double tail whip, finding his pedals perfectly with his feet so he can launch this, the big 180 backflip. 2 in a row, 3 tricks. Kagy is having fun tonight. His fiance Tiffany has got to be psyched with that run.
Well, he came out swinging big time, but looks like he ended a little bit early. He still had a good 20 seconds left on the clock there, so I don't know if that's going to be enough to take over the lead from Jamie Bestwick, and it's not. He is going to go with his first run score, much to the disapproval of the fans here in the crowd. So Chad going with his first run score that's going to leave him in second place for now. Well, earlier in the show, we posed a question to you as part of the EXPN.com instant poll. And that question was, who will win BMX Freestyle Vert? Was it Jamie Bestwick, Dave Mira, or will we crown a new champion? Well, we had all the fans out there had a chance to log in and cast their vote, and 60% are going to be disappointed tonight because they felt that it was Dave Mira. But Dave's sitting in 7th right now after knocking himself good in the first run, and he will not be taking his second run. One guy left who can take over the lead here in BMX Freestyle Vert. That is Kevin Robinson. If he can't post up a score of better than 94.34, then Jamie Bestwick is going to walk away with a glory run here tonight for his second and final run.
Kevin's won 2 events already this year. He definitely has the firepower to do it. Best friends right there, Kevin and Jamie, training together full-time. State College, PA. Rolling in and ready to rock.
Well, this poses an interesting question here. Kevin's got a couple of things he's been working on, including something that he was saving for the best trick competition. The question is, now in light of what's happening in this contest, do you think Kevin may change his strategy and throw some of those things he was saving?
You just have no idea. Kevin is a true BMX warrior, though. Launching some big tricks early in his run, way out of the top of the ramp, over the channel.
Starting off a little slow here, but there we go, getting into the swing of things right now with a no-handed flare, taking the hands off in the middle of the backflip 180, gets a 540 out of it.
Uses one wall, then does a tail whip. Kevin slowing down just a little bit.
I don't think this run's going to be enough. There's the opposite flare. That was the problem area in his first run. Didn't have enough rotation the first time around. Whoa, and a one-footed can-can flare.
2 tricks for him, pretty big tricks at the end of his run. He's got to be psyched he pulled that opposite flare. That's the new one in his bag of tricks, and he is happy he's got it done. Not quite sure that's going to be enough, though, Jimmy. I'm not sure, without a flare whip or something like that in there, I just don't think he's going to be able to knock Jamie off of that top spot.
I don't know if that is going to be enough. He stayed pretty conservative on the earlier part of the run, and he managed to stay pretty much in one section of the ramp, so that could definitely affect his score. But look at him. He's psyched. He made the opposite flare. Jamie awaiting the score here to see if he's got a victory lap coming up.
Kevin walking away with the big thumbs up. Here we are taking a look at the tail whip near the end of his run. Riding a vert ramp's almost like a dead sprint, so these guys are very tired near the end. Here's a no-handed flare, no-handed corkscrew. Kevin's signature trick.
So Kevin mighty happy after that run. Had trouble with the opposite flare in run one. He gets it down. He needs a 94.34 in order to take over the lead. So he gets a 91 flat. Steve and I both agreed it wasn't going to be enough. And for the third year in a row, Kevin Robinson is walking away with a bronze medal in BMX Freestyle Vert at the X Games. And you know what that means, Steve? It means this guy, all pressure, just went right off of Jamie Bestwick. He's going to be taking a victory lap right here, right now. We're going to take a look at some first run highlights.
Check out the height on the 540, so high out of the ramp. The big flare covering so many sheets of skate light. Jamie with another dream run. Mr. Bestwick coming back from last year's 6th place. And he's going to take home gold this year. We got a victory lap coming up, but he's always a showman. I know he's not just going to completely lay up.
That's the thing about Jamie. He's a true competitor. He's not going to bow out on this one. Who knows? You may even see him use this run right here as a dry run for some of the stuff he might try to throw out in the best trick competition. Look how high that air was when he rolled in.
That has got to be around 13 or 14 feet off of a roll-in air. No one else in the world can do it that high.
He's almost up there high, as high, if not higher than the fly cam.
Pressure's off. He can just have fun with this, but he is not laying up at all.
Look how smooth and how dialed he is, using that little pocket right there to slingshot himself back over to the flat walls of the ramp.
Jamie, 6 feet, 1 inch tall. He's the tallest competitor in the competition, and it allows him to pump down the entire tranny. And your pump is what gives you all your speed and all your height.
You see Jamie, he just turned down flare over the channel and pumped a huge 540 out of it.
This is going to be, it's got to be higher than his first run score. He's not laying up at all. He quits a little bit early. I think he's going to call it, but wow, putting on a show.
He got out and shrugged his shoulders at the crowd as if to say, what, you want more?
Jeez.
3, 2, 1, and that is time right there for Jamie Bestwick. How about that for a victory lap?
Dumping his big bag of tricks all over the ramp. Bestwick is psyched. The crowd is on fire. These guys love opening up the big show here at X Games 11. Now check out the height on some of Jamie's first airs. Watch this. Perfect invert. That is got to be close to 14 feet out of the top of a 13.5-foot tall ramp. We measure the distance from the top of the ramp, lowest part of the bike. That is huge. That's 2.5 stories above the top of that giant ramp. Got to be 30-something feet in the air. Tweaked, turned down from Jamie. Incredible style. And here's the tail whip. Now coming up, check this out. Straight into a corkscrew. Back-to-back big tricks whenever he wants. Straight into the opposite fast plant flare. Another Jamie Bestwick invention. First rider to do it. Incredible run from Jamie.
That was absolutely amazing run right there. I don't know if that's going to be enough to bump up his first run score. Quit a little bit early on that one, but he knew he had it in the bag. He didn't have to throw any more in there. Right now, he's down on the deck of the ramp with Keith Allen.
Well, Jamie, after last year's misfortune, how does this one feel? Congratulations on a gold.
You know, this is the best feeling in the world. Just being able to ride like you do every day. You know, a lot of people don't understand that this is a great, great contest, and the 10 best guys in the world come here to win this, but only one can walk away with it. And that's a big pressure. So just to ride in front of everybody and just have a good time, that's what I did today.
Well, the fact that Mira went down with a slam, you guys have trading it back and forth the past couple years, everybody raising the bar. Does that make a difference to you on the win? Does it feel any different?
No, you know, I hate it when Dave Mira crashes. Not because, you know, I want an easy route in there. I love riding against Dave Mira. You know, he's one of my favorite riders, and he's a good friend. So, you know, it was a tough night for him, but hey, I know what a tough night's like. I had it last year, so I guess Dave might be eating at Denny's like I did last year.
Well, congratulations to you. You're not eating there tonight. Three-time gold medalist Jamie Bestwick. We take it back up to Jimmy Coleman and Steve Swope.
Well, Jamie Bestwick adding another gold medal to his trophy case in the history of the X Games, and once again, no one able to dethrone either Jamie or Dave here. So their reign of dominance continues, but check out the medal count. You got the Woodward guys taking first, second, and third consecutively. Chad Kagy taking home a silver, and Kevin Robinson taking home his third bronze medal in a row. Back to Sal in the studio.
What a bike contest we had, guys. First time that Dave Mirra does not medal in vert, and you hear the mutual admiration from Jamie Bestwick. Last year, Jamie Bestwick had the problem with his eye, and some said, well, maybe Dave didn't win the way he needed to. This year, Dave Mirra goes down. So hopefully next year, they will both be healthy, and we can have the true showdown.